Hello and welcome to this Robocraft 2 video. This is just gameplay, a full match from start to finish. I will have some commentary throughout the game. I choose this game not because I played particularly well. I played, I would say, quite sloppy actually in the start of the game, but better towards the end. But rather because there are good players on both sides. It was an even game, and I thought also quite a dynamic game with players trying to adapt and change robot depending on what happened in the match itself. So I thought that was rather interesting. So anyway, some air-to-air combat here. It's 2 versus 1, so he don't really stand that much of a chance. And he's going down here. So laser is quite good in air versus air combat, not as good in air versus ground. It feels like it does not really do really that well damage against ground robots. Here I noticed that there are no real defenders for the enemy tower, so I decided to try to chip away at some crystals. The respawning players on the enemy team are still a bit far away. I did not really nail the landing though. I think this is a mistake of me ditching a bit too early. I should probably have stayed and just taken as many crystals as I could, despite probably not getting out of there. The death timer is very low, it's just 15 seconds, so it's usually better to stay and take crystals, even though you just have to respawn afterwards after getting killed by the enemy team, than to actually try to get away. Here I waste a lot of time just trying to get the recall, and another 10 seconds for jumping out too early. So this is just me wasting time for nothing. Here I decide to switch to a robot equipped with plasma. The reason was that there were no enemy air, and if there's no enemy air, there's no point of having laser equipped. Plasma do a decent job at damaging enemy ground robots. My aim is quite off here. It's probably partly me to blame, but I can at least blame the game a little bit for this. They changed the projectile speed with a quite recent patch, and I haven't actually played that much since that patch, so I'm not really used to the new arc of plasma and try to adapt to that, and adapting quite poorly, I'd say. It gets a bit better towards the end of the game though. So laser, even though it might not feel like it if you're playing in a ground bot, but laser, if you're playing in the air, if you actually get hit, it hurts. Your robot is quite light, so every hit that lands do substantial damage. The trick is, of course, not getting hit. Even worse if you get hit by plasma, but plasma from ground to air is really hard to hit, so the risk for that is at least rather slim while being in the air, even though it can happen. A few of those shots are really close by. There he actually lands one, but fortunately not on somewhere I'm not really that well armored. But you can see I'm taking substantial damage here, trying to run away. The right tower is exposed. So death timer rather short. Up until this point I don't actually think I helped my team that much. I've done some stuff that is mostly annoying to the enemy team, but I'm not really contributing to winning the game that much. We're also actually losing the game, so the enemy doing a lot better job than we are. Still having trouble to adjust with plasma. It's easier to hit when you're kind of pretty much right above the enemy, because then you don't really have an arc. Well, at least a few more of my shots are landing now. It was rather horrible there, the first minutes of the game.
We have destroyed their left tower. A powerful robot has spawned for your enemy's team.
The reason I respawned here was that I saw an enemy aircraft on the left-hand side, and plasma against air is not that good, so I decided to switch to laser to take out that aircraft. Unfortunately, he gets in towards the house, the building there, where we have our tower. And the problem for me, like, I could go down and try to intercept him, but there was also an enemy tank in that building. So if I would go in there, I would be pretty much dead. So there's not really that much I can do there.
Our left tower is down. Our left tower is down. Our base tower is exposed.
Instead, I decide to try to at least get some crystals from the enemy. Unfortunately, there's a tank standing there guarding, and a light aerial unit compared to enemy tank that is standing inside a building. You can't really do much. Fortunately for me, it's not all in vain, because I see an enemy flyer trying to do the exact same thing again, going for our tower. And this time, of course, it's air versus air. He got plasma, I got laser. He tried to dodge me there behind the building. So already taken out 2 fast flyers. The tactic behind what the enemy is trying to do now, they realize we only have 1 tower left. So they got fast flyers that they try to run along the edges, just dive down behind our lines, ship at that last tower to hopefully win the game. Unfortunately for them, my flyers might not be as fast, but it's rather fast. With laser, I'm a lot more practiced than with the new plasma, meaning right now it's just I get them one by one. Here I decided to respawn because my flyer was actually rather hurt, so I wanted a fresh one. I now kind of realize what they are trying to do, so I decided like the best way I can help my team is just stop whatever they're doing in order to kind of sneak hits towards our tower, giving the players on my team more time to finish off their tower. I think this was actually a mistake by the enemy. Like, when they realized what I was doing, they should have stopped and switched to ground bots. Because both those players tried to do this, might have been smart until I got an interceptor up in the air. After that, it's not really smart to continue. They should have done what this guy is doing. It might actually be one of those that just switch there towards the end, but anyway, because I can't really stop him. If I'm switching robot now, it's just gonna be too long before I'm back, so what I'm hoping by shooting at him is not really to actually win that fight, but I'm hoping he's not smart enough to just keep shooting at the towers so that he will actually waste time trying to kill me. Unfortunately for me, he's not stupid enough to switch and start shooting at me, just concentrate on the crystals. But luckily enough, my teammates on the other side of the map are just doing the same thing, but a bit faster. Well, hope you enjoyed this game. Cheers!